It depends on what part you live in and what time you buy, different things like that. Right
Mhm.
now people are buying and it's high. Interest rates are low, so they're getting a
Right.
lot. They're getting good deals. But man, I can't believe the prices. It's
All
just
right.
insane.
All right, you guys, welcome. Hey, Sabra, how are you? Should I unmute you or okay? I think she muted herself. So, welcome. Thank you so much for coming to our chat. We have winemaker here, Paul Charles, who is winemaker for
Hello,
Charles
everyone.
Wine Company. Welcome, Charles, for coming to the platform. So, Charles is a good friend of Zuri Wine Tasting. He's been a brand partner for a number of years. He was actually at our second Wine Over LA festival, and he's been coming with his wine, with his spirit, ever since. And I'm super, super excited to have him um, join us for Wine Over LA 2020, which is going to be online. Yay! And I'm also super excited that, you know what, he's such a good wine partner of mine that he sent over this message to me earlier. And he's like, Tuanni, what do you think about this label? And so, what you see on the screen here, Equality, is his new label. And I love it. And he's working on getting that produced so that he can have this in our Wine Over LA package. And it's one of his Zinfandels that's going to be from Lodi, and I'm super excited about this label. So I'm gonna take the label off of the full thing of my screen. Like, let's just see if we can uh, let's go back to, okay, so we are on, okay. So welcome, Paul. So hi, tell us about you, tell us who you are, tell us about this wonderful label.
Well, Paul Charles, as Tawani mentioned earlier, from Charles Wine Company. We actually started Charles Wine Company about 12 years ago, right here in the backyard that I'm sitting in right now. Okay, so I'm going to actually turn this around a little bit. You will see over a lot of different kids and everything. I only have a couple of trellises left. I don't know if you can see that, but this backyard used to be full of vines. Okay. So over the years, trampoline, swing sets, and different things like that reduced it, and then I was able to bring some back. But our company literally started right here in our backyard and in our garage, which we then moved to a commercial winery. Um, I would say in 2012 was actually the first year moving to a commercial winery using their brand.
Nice. And so what grape varietals do you guys produce?
Symphony, which is our number one white varietal. We also have a Chardonnay, Cabernet, Pinot Noir, and Zinfandel. Over the past year or so, the Zinfandel has been the number one seller because it's labeled Passport. I actually made that into American Passport because of my love to travel. And so with our brands, I literally brand everything that we do according to our lifestyle. Okay. So it's more so of represents who we are so we can stay to that true brand and just be able to represent ourselves because with our brands, Tawana, you got to tell me when to stop sometime because I can just roll on.
No, 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 no. Just tell us about your brand. We want to
Okay,
feel your culture. Okay, so we want to
yeah.
know.
So with our brands, I'm the type of wine person, winemaker, wine brand owner that literally negotiate that I don't care about being in retail spaces. Retail spaces, I turn a lot down over the years. This year, within the city of Santa Clarita, where we live out in Southern California, Target, Walmart's, different things like that, I turned down because of the price points. They literally just want to, mark us down to nothing. Like I'm a larger brand that can make wines for $3 to $5 bottle.
Hmm.
Which when you're a boutique winemaker, you can't do that. So if I actually sold my brands to them, I would be underwater and this wouldn't survive. So, I'm more direct to consumer all the time. My website buzz is it's incredible.
And
Where we literally oh go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, I think that that's important and that's something to understand because the landscape of wine has changed because of the law. So, just a couple years ago, California was one of the first states to allow direct to consumer transactions. So,
Yes.
before that, you couldn't, as a wine company, you could not sell direct to consumers. But in California, you can sell pretty much to any consumer, correct? And outside of
That
California,
that is correct. And you have to be licensed in it. So at that time we did it, it was a 17 and a 20.
Mm-hmm.
and the number two was the winery license. And
Okay.
so it was, now I hear they combined them, where it's just internet sales only, no tasting room. So Tuanni, you've been to our studio where I'm able to sell out of there, do tastings in there, and also host, like winemaking classes and so forth,
Mm-hmm.
where people bottle their own wines and everything. You wouldn't be able to do that today with under the new California APC laws, with the new direct to consumer.
So
So it's a little
you wouldn't be able
different.
to do what you do today 2 years ago or 3 years ago now that the laws have
Right.
changed, which is huge. And I think that with COVID, they've changed the laws too now where restaurants
Whew.
can't even deliver wine. And
Yes.
so I'm gonna let's just talk a little bit. Let's just jump right into the conversation about diversity in wine, right? Now, first of
Okay.
all, I will say with COVID, this whole thing, it's I was talking to another business owner the other day, and they were a Black business owner, and we were saying how COVID has actually helped Black businesses because we're used to the struggle, right? So we're used to having it, having to go the extra mile and having the struggle. And now with some of the laws, liquor laws, they've relaxed them a lot. So now I think it's the perfect opportunity if you have a restaurant or if you have a red wine brand to take advantage of that. Can you just talk a little bit about how COVID or diversity in wine, how the two of them are kind of playing with each other right now? Like,
Yeah. Well, I can say with the COVID situation, it really hurt our business a lot, because the way we built our business model was to go out and do in-home tastings, have people come to us and do private tastings. I did a ton of wine parties and events. So that was, my business model, which over the last 10 years, it worked perfectly.
no,
Okay.
trust
When
me, that's what
COVID,
I've been doing for the
yeah,
past 10 years.
right.
So,
That's how we met, right? So,
yeah, so
so it's
I
like,
understand that part. Yes.
yeah, when this COVID hit and shut us down completely, and you got to remember, those ABC laws here in California didn't change until after the first month.
Hmm.
Okay, so when restaurants start selling their wines that for $20 a bottle, from $15 to $20 a bottle, that hurt my own wine sales. So it was like
I see.
nobody was coming to me anymore. You literally go from, say like $2,000 a month down to 300, or
Okay.
sometimes 100, because now you can pick up your takeout meal and get a bottle of wine for $15 to $20 that you normally pay $10 a glass for, or
Yeah.
$12 a glass for.
But I
So they
think
were
that,
just liquidating everything. So that really hurt my local sales here in the Valencia, Santa Clarita area more than anyone ever knows.
wow. I mean, but then it kind of changes because before I know where you were trying to sell to restaurants because, typically going into a restaurant, they reduce the prices, they don't really, and then they resell it for like a lot of money.
Right,
Now
right.
you can partner with the wineries, right? So I know there's a couple wineries that I'm working with in Los Angeles, and I'm actually helping them design their wine menu, right? And so of course you're one of my favorites, and I'm adding you to that list. But I feel like it's a great advantage for you and also for the restaurants where you can get your product in there. So now you just have to like transition, like going into selling for restaurants so that they can
Yeah,
into
but
it.
it's transitioning at the right price.
Okay.
So there's a few restaurants that I used to be in that I pulled out of because they didn't want to buy it at my best retail price.
Okay.
Or, um, it's a few of the area liquor stores and different things like that. Also, that, hey, if they buy it at my wholesale price, I'm fine with that because you're another licensed vendor, you in the industry. Okay. But there's only so many of those cases per year I can sell. So we went from basically 100 cases a year, 300 cases, 500, and now we're almost close to selling 700 cases a year. Literally, just I sell more than some of the smaller in-house wineries because of the amount of hustle that and you know how much I literally hustle all the time. I, you know, and my neighborhood knows I'm the wine guy. So yesterday, I'm on my porch on a podcast. The lady walks by with her basket, and she's ready for her wine and for me to sign the bottle.
I love it.
That's how much I literally hustle and tell people, who we are, right? So my wife and I, we do our daily walk, and we always have on, our shirts,
I love it.
right? And so people see us. This is the best branding, as we had this whole branding talk before, what you can do, because then people start a conversation or they pull it up on their phone to find out who you are.
So
But when you talk about, oh,
I'm sorry, but can you
go ahead.
talk a little bit about branding? So, like, I hate to keep just throwing this into the conversation, but I just really want to talk about like this space of wine. And I know you've done a great job of like branding yourself and living in this space. But can you talk about like branding and like diversity and like how you mix the two? So, for example, I remember that Pinot Noir that you had, and it was called Melanin, and it had this beautiful
Yes.
black woman on the bottle, right? And can you talk about the importance or how you integrate your personal self into your brand, into the wine industry? Are there any fears or like what? How does that
No
work?
fears for me. I'm a black man in America, have been, always will be, until the day I live this earth. And I always wanted to represent who we are on labels. Okay. So for a couple of years, I literally tried to work with so many different artists. To My whole idea with the Melon label was, hey, I want to have a black artist design this label. This is what I'm looking for. And then we want to do, like when I did my launch party, I wanted them to do a live painting of it. That never worked out. It was so darn hard and so complicated to work with individuals. They never showed up. They never presented what we did. So I literally had to go with, a stock image of it. And people were like, don't do that. It won't work. You never should put that. And I was like, no, I'm proud of who I am and who my sisters are. And this is what I'm going to go with. And this is going to show the culture of who we are. Proud of, my melanin skin and who I'm about. And, it wasn't taking a chance for me, it was taking a chance for others. But when I put that out, that was my number one seller for 3 years.
Nice.
Number one.
So the
People
key
are still asking for that today.
So the key takeaway is if you were talking to somebody else who had a wine brand or any kind of brand, really, it's like don't be afraid to infuse your culture in your brand to be unique and to find that niche. Is that
That's exactly it.
okay?
That is exactly it. And you know what? Go with your gut, okay? Because you're dealing with, as a business owner, and any business owner here on this call, they know you deal with a whole lot more than what other people see and perceive on what you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis,
Right.
especially with the wine brand or winery. From behind the scene, people want to see the finished product. You don't know what you literally go through with labeling,
Yes.
bottling, packaging, shipping, the ordering aspect of it. When things go wrong, when a truck breaks down on the road and wastes literally 2 to 3 pallets of your hard-earned dollars, you just don't. It's so much involved. They only see what, hey, I'm going to put it in this glass and have a nice drink. Thank you. It's like, what I've been through. I've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning to get
No.
here for this 5 o'clock tasting,
Right.
and
And I
I've
feel
been through barrels in my car and everything.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel the same way. I mean, it's the same way with like event planning and these Zuri Wine Tasting events. People show up and they're like, "Oh, this is a great time," but they don't know the sweat, blood, and tears that went into it, right?
And they
Um,
just think, I want to do what you do. I want to own a label. I want to do this. But when it comes to the hard work, they bail out when
so
they
what
see
about
literally what you have to do.
yeah? So what about like how has it been just like working in this space and being in this space as a black winemaker when you go to like industry events and things like that? Like, how do you feel?
For me, I love the challenge. I'm not gonna lie. For my wife and my son, my daughter, when they see the discrimination, it bothers them, and they don't want to show up the next day. Next day. For me, I thrive on that. Born and raised in Pomona, California. Okay, all throughout LA, all my whole life. Went to the Navy when I was 17. All right. I play soccer overseas. I deal with a lot of different racism throughout my life. Okay. And in this industry, when it's only a few of us, it just feels like for me, it's a time to show who I am and thrive. People are surprised, literally, when I open my mouth and start talking about wine or a solution to their problem that they had with bottling or winemaking or racking or anything that cases may be. We always tuned in to make sure that, hey, we're listening, we're seeing what's going on around us. And then if I step in and offer my suggestions and talk to them, they go, oh, wow, okay, that may work. Or who are you? Do you mind coming by and let's chat and blah, 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 different things like that. But we went to an event in San Francisco. It was a Boke wine event. And they always send me all these different things. Okay. So my wife, and my oldest son was in San Francisco that weekend. And we were visiting some friends at different wineries. And I said, hey, I got us tickets. Let's go to this event. The racism at that event was just off the chain from when we first walked in the door. We stood in line at the industry table. This lady turned around and looked at my wife and son. She looked down at their feet, looked up at her head, stared at her, smugged, and turned around. And I had to literally grab my wife. I was like, oh, hold on, baby.
Oh,
It ain't worth it. It ain't worth
it. A minute.
So then, even when we get up, Tuanni, I was just smiling. Okay, I was just like, okay, I know what this is gonna be. Here we go again. And so we get up to the table, and this is an Asian young lady, and she looks at me and she goes, yes, who are you here for? And I said, I'm here to represent my company, Charles Wine Company. And she says, okay. And she was literally fumbling around with the papers. She said, what's your name? I said, my name is Paul Charles. And I said, I'm the owner. And she said, okay. Are all of you guys together? Now, I look around and I said, yes, thank you for not assuming. Okay. And she was fumbling through and she says, I said, no, you know we're there because I'm one of your VIP guests. And she goes, sorry. The lady literally on the side of her came over, took the paper. She got her badge. She says, I apologize. And I'm so happy, the way that you handled the situation. And I said, lady, I'm a professional first. People of this manner, they don't bother me because I know who I am. And so I think the whole thing is when you're out there representing yourself, whether you're branding, doing anything, you just got to represent yourself right and have confidence in yourself. And it speaks a long way. Because I'm going to tell you, throughout that night, when we first walked in that room, you walked through those doors, you got spirits, you got beer, you literally got people from around the world, European countries, because everything in that room. And it was like silence when we walked through that door. 3 Black people together.
I can imagine because you know what? We started
It was like, what the heck?
I can imagine because we started out in this business in the forefront of wine like 10 years ago, probably at the same time. And we were on the West Coast in Los Angeles. And I remember going to wine events. And I was a member of the Society of Wine Educators, which I think is an amazing event. But I was going to events and I'd be like one of maybe 4 Black people out of like 1,000 attendees. And I never personally like experienced any like racism, except for one time I went to this one wine tasting and this one lady handed me her coat and she asked me to put the coat away. But, other than that, though, I've never really experienced any racism, and I am super excited about direct racism, right? Overt, obvious racism.
But this is the thing too, Tuanni. I experienced a lot of racism, especially even from our own. Something happened. I can hear a reverb.
Is that okay?
But even from our own, okay. Well, one other event was at the Skirball Center here in LA. Mm-hmm. And when we walked up to the table to present ourselves, they said, okay, who are you? I told her who I am. And she says, no, excuse me. You need to wait to check in to the owner of the company.
Yeah. I mean, that part is happening.
I said,
yeah.
I said, I'm here. And she says, no, the real owner. And I was like, I'm the real owner. And she was like, I was just like, you know what, lady? And that's when I almost lost it. Okay. And then I said, let me get a calm head. I said, I'm the owner of Charles Wine Company. And she said, well, who's the winemaker of the company? I said, that doesn't matter. If my name's on that list, that means you have a badge for me and I'm able to get through those doors.
Wow.
And she says, oh, there you are. Huh. And she did that, huh. And, that's when you want to climb over the table and grab them, but you got to compose yourself.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
like, okay. He was like, okay.
maybe I'm a little bit too naive because that has happened a couple of times when
Yeah.
people were like,
But
"Can I see your
but
manual?"
with our own. Yeah. Have you I have had discrimination from our own people for so many times, so many events that walk by our table and do different things, a smirk. Even though we got long lines, we're doing everything. They act like they're doing me a favor to come up and taste our wines. And they be
I,
like, let me see what you got. This smirky. I was like, I was like, you know what? We have the right to refuse service to anyone. And people with bad attitudes, that's who I do not serve. So
yeah,
excuse me while I help the next guest. And they look at me like, oh, and then I tell them when I see them later, you just assumed who I was, what I had, and I worked for somebody else and so forth. I said, so,
I think that
you get
that
treated the way you want to be treated.
yeah, but I think that that's probably a big thing about being somebody who's Black or African American in the wine industry is you do get
But
this
why?
misconception. No, it's a misconception. And
Why?
I look at it like this, and maybe I'm too naive, maybe I'm too nice. And you guys who are on the call, if you guys want to add any comments or, ask any questions, feel free. But I just think it's because, when you look at us as a whole, as a group entering this wine industry, we're relatively new. Like the wine consumption, the fine wine consumption of Black people has increased, like it's tripled over the past 5 6 years or so, right?
Uh-oh.
And
It's
so
bad. Shoot.
oh, it's
I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm trying to move around to get a
It's
better
okay,
light because I was getting dark in this area.
but it's
But
tripled because I know
are
I
we
grew up.
really new?
But no,
Are we
listen,
really
but
new in
I
this?
we
Okay.
don't come from generations of people who drink fine wine. So for example, me
True.
myself, my mom didn't drink fine wine. My mom drank
No.
Carlos Rossi in a big jug and she made sangria from it, right? So when I entered this wine industry or this wine life, um, my experience with fine wine was my first time experiencing it, right? And so you don't have a lot of people who look like we who are used to drinking um, amazing wines and fine wines. I mean, it's just like, I mean, we talk about diversity and we talk about perceptions and things like that. And for me, I like to think of things from both sides, right? Um,
Yeah.
so, and you said racism from our own people, like they don't. I remember going to Wine Over LA, and we would do not Wine Over LA, Wine Fest, the one that's at the
The
studio in
LA Wine
Hollywood,
Fest.
LA
Yeah.
Wine Fest,
Yeah.
right? And I would have the only booth at LA Wine Fest when
Hmm.
I first started going. Like literally, there were no more minority, no more
I
Black
saw you there.
people with
I saw
booths.
you there. Yeah.
And our booth was the livest, it was the funnest, it was amazing, and people would come over and they would want to drink with us, right? But
Yep.
at first it would be kind of slow. Like literally you could see how things would progress. Like literally at first I was like, nobody's coming to our booth. We were like that new kid in school, right? And then as people went around to the other booths and they drank wine and they relaxed a little bit, then they came over to my booth, and then that's when they started to find out about my story and to find out what I was actually doing and the fact that I was promoting brands that were made by Black people. And I had these brands made by Black people and they wanted to taste them and they wanted to enjoy them. And then they were like, oh, these are pretty good. I like these. These are great. How can I get them? Um, so
Yeah.
I think,
Well, you made it fun, Tuanni. I've been to that. I was at a couple of those Wine LA events, and you made it fun. I remember when you were around that corner, and you walked through everybody else's, the whole wine tasting thing and all that. But when you got around to your side, you had a lot of people out there.
yeah,
People were energetic. We were taking pictures. It's
we
like,
were
oh my
doing
God,
like,
this is
we
cool.
were like dancing at
This is
some
the way
point.
wine should be. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is the way.
but
This is wine should be fun as well,
yes,
and as well as serious. Okay, there are
yes.
certain aspects of the business where, hey, okay, you know what, you got to calm down here, and I'm trying to teach you something.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
I
trying to
want you
get you
to
to a
really not
certain
miss what
place.
I'm trying to. Yeah, but there's sometimes where it's like, you know what, let's let our heads down there. It was a Saturday. Let's enjoy ourselves, man.
Yeah,
You
but I
know,
think that that's
let's
the
enjoy.
important thing about like um, inclusion and diversity is because we bring as Black people in the wine industry, we bring a different flavor, we bring a different vibe, right? And that vibe
We do.
initially it might not be accepted by everybody, it might not be welcomed by everybody, but like you were saying, if you stay true and authentic and you bring that vibe, then it just kind of changes. And so then I think that that's the important part of diversity, is like being able to change the landscape like little by little, you know what I mean, and not getting so,
Right.
not getting so disappointed or so aggressive when you're just not welcomed right away, because it's like
Yeah, and
new.
you've been around me for a lot of years, and we've been at events where we worked together, where we were attendees, the whole gamut, and we always have fun.
Yes.
Okay, so at my booth we a dance, we a laugh out loud, we
Mhm.
drink, we take pictures, we tell stories, we just have a good time. I think because I truly believe wine is such a social drink that brings people together, no matter what your profile is in wine. You can be I had from the highest experts, master sommeliers that you have introduced me to, and from sommeliers to wine brand owners to people that just their first time in a wine event,
Yeah,
and to see people like that smile and still just enjoy and have a good time, and everybody work together like we're just all sitting there drinking the first time. I think that's what this is all about, and I
definitely.
think the
Can we
other
take
way
a
it turns people just think it's snobbish and turn people away from wine, but
yes.
wine is everything to me and to us. And I mean, I just it's just a passion of mine. You just can't not get enough of,
Yeah, and let me
and you
just take
and
a
you learn every day, you're learning
yeah.
every day from it.
Let me take a break to just reintroduce you, because we are also live on Facebook, and then we have some more
Oh, okay.
people who joined the Zoom call after we get started. So my name is Tuanni Price. I'm owner of Zuri Wine Tasting. My business focuses on wine for the most part. I drink everything. 100%, it doesn't matter, but my business focuses on wines that are made by people who look like me and you, Charles. And I try to highlight wines that are made by Black people, women, and Latinos, and I try to make sure that these wines are delivered to the people so that you have access and opportunities to buy these wines. So I am here with Paul Charles, and Paul Charles is, say hi, Paul Charles.
Hello.
So Paul Charles is a winemaker. He's a wine brand owner, and he owns the brand called Charles Wine Company. He's based out of Los Angeles. He started making his wines in his backyard, um, and now he doesn't make them out of his backyard. He actually uses a vineyard and like a winemaking facility. But he's owner of Charles
Yeah.
Wine Company. Can you just show everybody the T-shirt again? Because he is like the master
Ah,
brander. He's like, always be branding. That's his motto, right? I need to learn from him. I need my Zuri Wine t-shirt on right now.
I have about 100 of these shirts and about 25 hats, and wherever we go, when the Charles Wine Co. step family walk out, we walk out branded together. This is the best style of branding literally you can have.
Kids
Okay,
and
I can be
all?
wearing
Are you serious?
kids.
Kids and
No, no, kids and all. Oh, I got sizes for grandma to my 9-year-old to everybody. Let me tell you, I'm serious. People laugh, but why have them with a polo shirt on or a Gucci outfit or whatever, where you have a business to run?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, you a small business owner here in America, and you're a black-owned business. Why not represent yourself properly? I don't want to wear anybody else's gear unless if I was supporting you one day,
yeah,
okay, and I had a Zuri wine tasting shirt on,
yeah,
okay. That's the way I would support and support my friends in the business. If they gave me one of those shirts, like a lot of my friends do, they support me. I give them my shirts, they support me in that. I'm all for that. That's the only stuff I literally wear on a daily basis because I want people to know who we are without spending $1 million in branding on TV commercials. you know?
that makes so much sense. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the comments on Facebook right quick. And if you guys have any questions or comments, please, you can either put them in the chat or you can unmute you. I can unmute you. Just raise your hand and then I'll unmute you. But let's see, I'm just looking at the comments in the chat, and somebody says, what is the racial makeup of your customer base, and can you explain that experience? How do you address those one bottle buyers? That's Carrie. She asked that question. So, like,
you
how do you
know,
address those one bottle buyers?
okay, so the first part of the question, the ratio, I'm literally I'm about 50-50 on the ratio. I have so many customers of different ethnicities and so forth that um, you know, it's amazing
I think that that's
my touch and breach. But my main customer reach is women. I have literally 80% of the women that buy my wine. Over 20% of the men.
can we just pause for a second, because I think that
Sure.
that's a good point to make. Sometimes when I say, you know what, my brand focuses on these winemakers who are Black, Latino, and women, people think that that's excluding a customer base, right? And
Right.
really, it's
Right.
not. It's not excluding a customer base.
Not
And
excluding
truth
anybody.
be
Yeah.
told, my customer base, my core customer base is 50-50, right? So it's 50%
Yeah.
Black and then 50% non-Black for the private in-home wine tastings, right? If
Hmm.
you come to Wine Over LA, then it's going to be mostly Black people. But I remember I dated this guy once, right? And we were dating for a few years, and he would never come to Wine Over LA. And so this one year when we were dating, I said, "How come you don't come to Wine Over LA? Like, why don't you can bring your homie, you can just come or whatever." And he was a white guy I was dating. And he told me that he would feel uncomfortable being around
Mm.
all Black people. Now here we are dating,
Oh, see.
and
Ah.
we go to places all the time
Mm.
that's all white, all the time. And he was like, "But Tuanni, you're used to it and you handle it well." He's just like, "I don't know." Oh, holy
Mm.
Melanta. Like, I just couldn't believe that that was his response. Like, he didn't want to
Well,
come
he
because he
he
would feel
shared his true self to
uncomfortable.
you.
He did, he
He
did.
shared it, so thank God for that. Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
but
honestly, as a brother, I'm just trying to tell you, he shared his true self. And I have daughters. My youngest daughter, is dating. She likes Caucasian guys because where she grew up and where she went to schools and different things of that nature. But I always tell her and make sure that, hey, this is, you may not have an easy road here. Okay. I bless your union or whatever you guys are doing, but there's going to be some differences. So be ready for that conversation.
yeah.
And
And
you
I mean,
bringing
but
him
I think that
around
that's a
us. Have
fair,
you been around his family, and how
yeah.
does his family react
But
to you,
I
like
think
how
that
we react to him?
I think that that's a fair conversation, right? Because if
Yeah,
that's how you're feeling, that's how you're feeling. And I really do want people to share their honest feelings about how they
absolutely,
feel, right? So, like, if I
absolutely.
have this
Yeah,
event and I say it's focused on winemakers who are this and who are that, and if you're a non Black person and there's going to be 75% Black people there, share those feelings with me. Say, "Tuanni, I don't know." Then I can tell you, "Girl, you're cool. Nobody's going to be caring."
but it comes down to people that are comfortable who they are.
Hmm.
Okay, they don't care who's at that event. If it could be Hispanic, Indian, Asian, what, if they know events called Soul of LA and they show up, they know what the way soul is spelled. They know what's going to be there. They don't Google it. They don't know what's happening, but they want to taste some good wine. They want to be around some good people. They want to enjoy themselves and they're comfortable in who they are.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think that
those are my customers here
yeah.
within the city of LA. I literally have Filipinos, I have Korean customers, I have white, I have Black, I have Hispanic, I have a whole gamut, and that's what I love. Okay, that's what I love on my makeup. To answer her question about the ethnicity base of my customers, but the other part is 80% women. Okay, is my other customer base that actually buy the wines.
Hmm. Love
Very
that
small
women.
percentage of men, and I cater to all.
And what
And
about the
I'll be
one
honest.
bottle? What about the one bottle
Oh,
question? She said, "How do you deal with the
I,
one
I love I love the wine bottle people. Because they want to try something new.
bottle?" Hmm.
Okay, they want to taste something. They want to try. I welcome the one bottle people. I'm like, have it your way. But in the age of like my website on shipping, you got to buy a minimum of 2 bottles, okay? Because I tell people all the time, you buy one, you got to pay more for shipping than what you do for two. It's the strangest thing the way these shipping companies work it out, but so it's literally a minimum of two. I love the one bottle. I don't care if you want to try one of this and one and gone or whatever. You're trying something new. You're experiencing things, and that's what it's all about in this winery, the world. the varietals out here, you have over 3,000 different varietals of wine. People are just normally used to the top 10 varietals of wine. You know, you got to try so many different things. You got to go to your local wine shop and talk to them about, this is what I'm making for dinner, tonight. What do you think would go well with it? And try something new. I don't care from what country it's from,
Mm-hmm.
you know, try something new.
And you know what? And you make a point there too. So you say go to your local wine shop, and I say no, take a Zuri wine tasting class. I teach you all about this. I'll teach you how to pair wine with food. I'll teach you how to shop for wine in the grocery store. So yeah, don't go to your local grocery store. Just call me up, take a wine class. I also do consulting fee. Okay, my shameless
that
plug
is
is over.
that is well. That is well. But I'm talking about a Friday night. It's like because I get people call me all the time, literally, from young
Yeah,
to old at prior customers. They say, Mr. Charles, or even my kids, Dad,
yeah.
we're having blah 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 tonight. Are we at the store? What should I buy?
And
And when it's my kids, I'd be like, why don't you have our damn brand in your house? you know, you know,
what do you mean
first of
you're going
all,
to the store?
yeah.
Like, come on.
And they'd
So
be like, yeah.
So Paul,
So
like, are you
yeah,
drinking? That brings me to a good question. What are you drinking? Are you usually only drinking your wines? And if you're not drinking your
absolutely not.
wines, what are you
Absolutely not. I
drinking? So
haven't drank my wine in a long time. I literally haven't drank my wine in a long time to today. I'm
oh,
drinking our
nice.
2017 Chardonnay
Hmm.
because it's 100 degrees here in Southern California. I'm sitting outside in my backyard and I was hot. Okay. And I wanted something nice and cool and refreshing. And I had literally haven't had this wine, Tuanni, in over a year. Okay.
Wow. So when you revisited,
Literally in over a year.
that wine, were you like, oh shit, this is actually pretty good? Like this?
Yeah, when I tasted it, I was like, damn, we did that.
Yeah.
I was like, this is good. And
I
then you
did.
start
I
thinking
did
about
that.
all
That's
the
all me.
the profiles and stuff came back up, and I started looking at my notes and everything. I was like, well, damn, we didn't do too bad, and so
Yeah.
forth. But then you become, you're just like, wow, okay,
So
let's keep going. Let's
I'm
keep going.
gonna say hi to some people that are on Facebook. Tiffany Bradshaw, she says hi Paul and hi Charles. And
Hey
then
Tiff, what's up?
Amanda is on Facebook watching. Hi Amanda. And then Gwendolyn says she agrees. She didn't grow up drinking wine. Her parents didn't drink fine wine. And Gwendolyn says that she wouldn't know about fine wine unless it was for me or for people like me. So thank you, Gwendolyn, for the love. So Paul, let's talk
Yes.
about. We don't have that much time left. I think we're about to run out
Oh
of
shoot.
time, but we're gonna go over
Okay.
like 2 minutes or so, maybe
All right.
5 minutes. It depends on if people have more questions. But let's talk about wine over LA. So, yeah, Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. It's like the show must go on, and I am super excited. I mean, you don't even know how excited I am about Wine Over LA online. Like I love Over LA in person because I love the energy that I get from everybody who attends. And thank you very much to the people who have been coming. There's some people who have been coming since like year one. Lance Adams, thank you very much. Monica's been coming since year
Yes.
one. But thank you so
One,
much for the
two.
people who come, and the energy is so
Yes.
amazing. But what I like about the online platform is I'm able to reach people all over the country. So it's called Wine Over LA, but you could be in Alaska and you can come to our online event. Can you, and whenever, since you've started coming, whenever I call you and I tell you the dates, you're like, okay, I'm there. This year we're talking about vacation or something like that. And I was like, no, you got to take your laptop with you. But can you talk about like Wine Over LA?
Yes, I'm telling you, and I tell people all the time this, and even when we have other events throughout the year, and I bring you up and I tell people, this is the best damn event in LA. I mean, every year it gets better. Oh, I'm myself, y'all. Sometimes I sprout some stuff out, but I think this literally is the best damn event in LA. Every year it gets better.
Like, you know what?
Tawani
I'm
she
gonna say
just
in the
pumps it up
United
to
States.
another
I'm gonna
level.
say in the United States because I didn't been to wine events all over the United States, and no, and I
Yep, I
think
have been.
honestly, and I think it is because of the people who come and the people who pour their wines and the connections that you
Hmm.
guys make with the consumer. It's like It's like you get all
Absolutely.
these winemakers in a room and people are actually able to go and talk to them.
But it's what you put together. I mean, it's not just the winemakers that are there, okay? You have cigars, you have whiskeys, you have DJs, you have food. Damn it, we got a yacht that we cruising out in, okay?
We on a yacht,
You,
like,
have,
okay.
you literally got everything going at one time. So you know how much imagine the work just putting in an event at a, like, say, like at a business hall. You're doing it on the ocean, okay, where folks is cruising down Marina Del Rey and
Hmm.
having a good time for a few hours. You got a captain, you got everybody. This is the excitement of this event that people come to and want to see and do different things with every year. This year is going to be a little different, okay, and nothing wrong with different, and we all got to be part of it, and there's going to be a lot more coming around and joining and having a good time and experiencing what we normally experience. Next year, after this event, I want all these people that's going to be online from all these different countries
Yes.
to book their airfare a year in advance to come down to LA in July to attend Tuanni's event, because I'm telling you, you will not have a better wine event. And I attend, that's my business. As if you joined earlier, what we do is do wine events around California and other states. This is truly the best one, and we look forward to. Now, as she mentioned earlier, I told her about traveling in July of this year because of this whole COVID. We've been trapped in the house, and we're supposed to be in Ireland right now, but we're at home. So we're going to rent an RV in July and take a couple of weeks, my family and I, and travel across the U.S., hoping some wineries are open. And Tawani was like, "Oh no." She was like,
I was like,
"You
time
better take your
out.
laptop. You coming to this event."
Let me
And
call
I agree
Sharice.
with her. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I agree. So I told my wife, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna have to bring my laptop for this event." And she's like, "What event?" I said, "Tawani's event." She's like, "Hmm." I was like, "It's wine over LA. It's wine." But
Yes,
so
yes.
she knows how important this event is to us. So wherever we're on the road to, Tawani, I'm
Yes.
gonna pull over. We gotta do this. I'm gonna have a good time. Uh, I don't know how many years. I've been doing this for a lot of
Yeah,
years.
seven
I'm gonna
years.
miss the
Seven
yeah. I'm gonna
years.
miss the face to face with, you get all those new customers, and then you see the familiar faces,
Well, the
and
thing,
then you just go, wow.
and so the thing about Wine Over LA, I'm trying to like, like literally, you guys don't even understand. People don't understand like the care that I take when I have these events, even when they're in person, right? So, with this one, I'm like doing research. I'm going to be a master at Zoom, right? I'm going to be a master at the breakout rooms and the interaction with people because I'm doing all this research so that when I do have it online, it's like the best possible experience for people so that we can still like interact with each other, maybe play some fun online games, maybe even have a surprise guest like DJ or something like that. You know what I mean? So we have some music involved. Um,
Yes.
but I'm literally taking all that energy of planning the in-person thing and I'm going to plan the same thing for online. So it's not like, it's not like this call here. With this call is great where we're just talking to you, but it's going to be so much more interactive. And then there's going to be breakout rooms where they can actually go into a room and have like a virtual tasting with winemakers. And you'll get to see all these new faces and you'll get to interact with them and they get to ask you questions. And then some of the old people that you've already had as customers, they'll be there too. So I'm super excited about Wine Over LA Online. We are
Me too.
almost
Me
towards the
too.
end. We're actually over like 6 minutes. But before we wrap it up, I just want to see if anybody on the call has any questions. I'm going to change this to gallery view. So, like, fix y'all hair, pet y'all weaves. Do you guys have
Outside,
any
we wipe it off with
questions?
towels.
I'm in Cape Town, so it's like cold. I have on like a long sleeve shirt and a little chemise thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
any
So,
questions
any
for
other questions at all? Any?
I'm gonna look to see if there's any on Facebook. Um, oh yeah, Matisha says she wants to bring a group in 2021. Bring them, girl, bring them.
Bring them. Bring them.
Yes.
Bring them.
All right. Okay.
Where,
So
where is she out of? Uh,
she's in Dallas. So
okay,
she's in the
that's
curfew
close.
zone. It's been quiet in my area and the looting. Oh, I guess somebody asked her how everything was in her city because she says that there's no looting, everything's quiet in her area. So,
Okay.
if you guys don't have any questions, or if you have any last minute remarks about diversity in the wine industry, this is your time to make those comments and those questions. Otherwise, we're going to let you go, Paul. Paul, do you have
All
any
right.
comments?
I don't. I always enjoy my chats with you. It's good to, we can't hook up in LA, do lunch or anything like that. So it's good to always see your face. I'm glad you're doing well there in Cape Town. So stay safe, sister. All right. Enjoy yourself. Monica, you too. One day you'll get back here to the States, but you're in a good place. All right. But no, you guys enjoy.
Absolutely.
So
You
yeah,
guys enjoy.
and so one last thing, if
Yes.
you have a chance or if you're interested in Charles Wine Company and his wines, you can find him on the internet. So you can Google Charles Wine Company, or you can go to his website, charleswineco.com. Did I say that right,
Yeah,
Charles?
you
So you can
did.
go to his website, you can see the wines. Again, he is going to be releasing a new wine, especially for Wine Over LA. And
Yeah.
I'm super excited about that wine. We showed it at the beginning of the presentation. And if you want to find out more about Wine Over LA online, please visit zuriwine.com. And you can Google Zuri Wine. You know what? Google me. You can Google Zuri Wine, you can Google Tuanni Price, and you can find out all about Wine Over LA. And I hope to see you for Wine Over LA. Thank you, Paul.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
See you guys.
everyone, for
Have a good
joining on
evening.
Zoom. Thank you, everyone, for joining on Facebook. Have a good one. Stay safe.